Willkommen, bienvenue, welcome once again to another of my live streams. I'm very pleased to be brought together with Jalpa Lai. Now, Jalpa runs a company called Lollywise, and Lollywise is all about financial education for young people, particularly young entrepreneurs or those just changing from being one form of schooling to another at the very point when they hit real life and they have to start adulting. But also, what I'm also pleased about is that Jalpa and I we've done something rather cool. We've come up with something called Purple Lolly, and the idea is we're not just going to help young people with their financial education, but we're going to give them some basic marketing training so that young entrepreneurs are best placed to make best use of all the opportunities that is presented with them. Why do you think this is going to help, Jalpa? Oh, and welcome.
Well, hello.
That was a bit
Well,
remiss of me, wasn't it? Sorry about that.
When you're starting off on your entrepreneurial journey, it's overwhelming, isn't it? And it's lonely. So many decisions, so much going on. So what we're trying to give young business owners is the chance to cut away all the extra noise and kind of focus them on making all the right decisions. And the beauty of what we're offering is that we're offering dual mentorship. So two coaches.
Coaches are the price of one, folks.
Yeah, a very, very accomplished marketing expert, which, in the early days of a business is absolutely crucial. And the thing that worries people the most, at least it used to really, really affect all my thought processes. So, and then I come in with the kind of finance and personal growth elements to make this whole journey kind of less lonely, less overwhelming, get to the success part much quicker, trying to avoid the pitfalls, but also making it fun because it's going to be a community.
I have to say, Jalpa is a very accomplished financial mentor, and I've actually been working through a number of the videos that have been sent to her from clients who have said, you know what, you've kept me sane by giving me easy to follow frameworks, and it just occurred to both of us when we were discussing this that if they were given frameworks both on how to manage the marketing flow of their business and know what to pay for without frittering it away on subscriptions for things they didn't need, or buying physical bits and pieces that they weren't going to use, instead of focusing on the things that actually were going to reap rewards, but also ensure that when the time came to pay taxes, when the time came to pay for all the very expenses they need to run their business, that they had the money set aside. I think it's critical, because I think people can get themselves into a right old 2 and 8, because what they haven't done is prep themselves. They put all the effort in, they produce beautiful products, amazing services, but spend an absolute bomb doing so. And when it comes time to pay the piper, they haven't got enough money in there, have enough sobs available to pay for it.
Yeah, so cash flow, budgeting, forecasting, allocating a proper amount to the marketing budget, tracking, all of these things is really important. But also you're going to come in with how they can stand out, how their product can stand out.
Also understanding who your audience actually is. In fact, a little exercise is this. If you think this is the whole world, now I'm waving my arms around, and this circle, I'm describing a circle in the air, are all the people who you know absolutely certain that your service, your product, your concept, your idea would positively help, then the only ones you should really be aiming at are these ones. And those are the ones who already know that they want to be helped. So they might not know the words to describe what it is that you can do to help them, but they certainly know that given the right stimulus, they'll go, that's what I need, that thing. I need that service. I need to know more. So all this means is that instead of marketing in a scattergun approach, a bit to everyone, we will help them focus that beam of information to only point it towards those who are most likely to react positively to their stimulus. In other words, that they are already in the picture. They just didn't necessarily know that they were ready to do it. And it will take discussion and getting the people, our mentees, if you like, to use the right sort of language to talk to people, to talk about themselves in such a way that they're putting out useful information, primarily on LinkedIn, about what they're capable of, while at the same time generating good responses back from their peer group and other clients.
Yeah, and also we can come in with our own journey experiences. We've made so many mistakes on the way. Well, I'm speaking about myself. So,
Well, no, both of us.
there is that.
I've fallen flat on my face a number of times. I think it's important to say this, actually. Many years ago, I briefly interviewed Richard Branson, and I said to him, how is it that you've done so well? What is it that's made you stand out? And he said, I worked out what I could do and what other people could do far better than me, and I made sure they were the ones doing it. So it's about finding the right people to help you do the things that you can do, so you can focus on doing the things that you're really good at. Now, in the early days, you may think to yourself, well, that costs money. But that's all about focusing on the bits that you can do easily first, building the structures in place. So at a later date, you can get in someone to help you run the day-to-day management. You can get in an accountant to manage your accounts. You can get in somebody to help you with the marketing. But in the early stages, you need to know what it is you should do more of and what you shouldn't be wasting your time doing at all.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we all start off and we're trying to do everything. So if you try and do everything on your own, it's going to be a really lonely, very arduous journey. So
well, you end up
figuring out early on what your passion, what the things you like doing is key.
You end up doing a lot of busy work. Not only my busy work is shuffling papers from one side of the room to the other, and packing and repacking things, and avoiding taking on the harder tasks. And what
Writing
I say
copy,
to you is,
rewriting copy,
all that nonsense. Just remember, the most important thing you can do is, and this is going to sound very contra what the current thoughts are, the current zeitgeist. Don't try and focus on being unique. Instead, focus on being interesting. You've got to capture the imagination of the people who learn about you so that they look a little deeper. And then hopefully, when you interact with them, they'll like you, your character, what you stand for, what your service can do for them, or your product. And then finally, far distant behind everything, your brand. But it's important that you capture their imagination. So they've got to understand rapidly what you can do to help them. And
and that
also,
is a hard thing to do.
pricing, something that Jalpa will help you with is pricing.
Yeah. And that is a hard thing to do. I think you're right. Keep it real rather than try too hard. Be yourself, because you're going to get found out otherwise anyway. So and really focus on.
Wasn't it Oscar Wilde that once said, "Be yourself because everybody else is taken"? You've got to be yourself. You've got to be yourself. You've got to be real. And the thing that seems to fly best these days is authenticity. Being the person they can rely on to be always the same, always have the same concepts and ideas behind them.
So that's what they are going to get with our package: authenticity.
Absolutely.
Some craziness, lots of laughter.
We are two recovered failures. We've failed at one point. We've climbed up, dusted ourselves off, and made a good fist of it, and come out successful. Let's talk through.
Sorry, I was just going to say, but that's how this mentoring package started, isn't it? Because we were having so much fun bouncing ideas off each other, and we were like, wouldn't this be lovely, at the beginning of you're kind of setting up your own business path if you can have that kind of environment to learn off each other, bounce ideas off each other, and learn from people who've been through it.
I think it's fundamental that people. I think it's fundamental that people get to hear stories, concepts, and ideas from people who have been through it, perhaps not succeeded initially, found things to struggle, worked through it, and came out the other side. I think that's absolutely critical. What I would say, I just want to talk through what we're offering within this. So this is going to be a monthly subscription. We are at the moment pitching it at £47. We haven't yet put together the final syllabus of what you're going to expect from it. But fundamentally, you get an initial one-to-one with each of us separately. You become members of a WhatsApp group between us and other mentees as well. So you can ask questions. And as the group grows, you'll be able to ask questions, not just of us, but of other mentees within the program. There'll be 30 minutes each month with each mentor. And what we're saying is you may not need 30 minutes. You might just need 15 minutes. So in which case, we're quite flexible to split that between different weeks. There'll be networking opportunities. Both of us are associated with a large number of networks, so we can get you involved with them. And by networking, I mean business, online, virtual networking, such that you can meet with people, interact with people, and learn more from people. We're going to connect you with people that we think are absolutely relevant to what you're doing. So we will act as your promoters as well. There'll be a level of accountability right at the beginning. We're going to set a series of goals that we want you to try and hit. So as we get to each one, we'll celebrate with you and we'll help promote you on to the next one. And finally, there's going to be the sharing of knowledge. Now, between us, Jalpa and I have quite a large number of years behind the wheel, as it were. We have been around the block. We've been worked for both corporate, for private business, and also for ourselves. So we can talk with an air of knowledge, but also of painful experience, of the good, the bad, the ugly. This will help you in two ways. One, it will be bloody amusing because you hear about many times in which I stuck my finger into the live socket or the equivalent thereof. But also, you're going to hear about stuff that you can avoid yourself, pitfalls to absolutely skirt around, ways in which you can maximize the time you spend. Jalpa, do you have any comments to add to all of that?
No, only that I wish I had something like that I could have joined at the beginning of my journey.
So, do you know, I wish I did as well. I'm also feeling a bit wistful about it. You know, right at the beginning when I started, there was no one to tell me that I had to save money to pay tax, or that dealing with people in one way would mean that when I come across them later on, they might feel quite diffident towards me. You know, it's all these adages, like you've got to watch whose head you're treading on the way up, because they'll beware to bash you when you're on the way down. And business tends to be in the early years, certainly, a sine wave, up and down. Not quite feast of famine, but you can.
I think I would definitely have
perfectly, can you?
Sorry, I think I definitely would have saved 12 months, definitely, for sure, if not more. But also, if you are starting a new business and you're leaving, you know, a job as an employee, that is a huge, massive shift. On top of, you know, it took me a while to get used to the entrepreneurial life. You know, you have to be really disciplined. You have to be willing to network. You've got to talk a lot about yourself. And, you know, all of these things can be limiting factors if it doesn't come naturally to you. So lots and lots of things that we can ease the path. You know, either we've been there before, or we know, you know, we know somebody who can help, or we can help. So just, yeah, I think whoever joins this program are guaranteed to have a great time and learn loads and loads and accelerate their journey.
We will make it fun. There'll be fun exercises to do. And as we interact with each other as we go along, you should find that you laugh a lot as well. But I'm going to give you two tips now, which I want to leave you with some absolute value. And Jalpa, if you can finish off with 2 tips as well, and then we'll leave you in peace. And hopefully we'll put this video out a couple more times, and also we'll be putting out posts as well. So please, if you've got any questions about it, don't be shy. Come forward. So the tip 1 is always define very carefully who your target audience is. I want you to think about them and build them in your mind. Are they working behind a desk in a corporate? Are they in a small privately funded company? Or are they working from home? Are they a mother? Are they a daughter? Are they young? Are they old? Are they get-goers? Or are they more laid back? You think about all of those things. The more clearly you can define your ideal client avatar, as they're known, the easier it's going to be to make sure that your service is marketed to the right person. And the second tip is going to be, don't be so bloody hard on yourself. Give yourself the time to work out what your messaging is going to be. Remember, your messaging should be easily understood within the first 2 to 3 seconds of a person hearing it. They should understand from the headline, from the top lines of what your posts, what it is you can do to help them. Jalpa, over to you.
So my number 1 top tip would be protect your cash flow. This is the thing that is often overlooked and will, cause you lots of problems. Track all your expenditure. See what are you spending on that's giving you maximum results. So track your expenses and mind your cash flow. Those are my top 2 tips.
They're great tips. Minding your cash flow means making sure you don't. If someone says to you, "Yeah, I'll pay you for that," can you leave it for a while? Set a date on which you expect to get the money in. Otherwise, it'll drag on, and then before you know it, you've got 10 clients owing you umpteen amounts of money and no money in the coffers to pay for things.
That's right. And write down everything that you buy or you spend money on, because it's so easy. I did it myself. I'd buy a course, I do this, I do that.
I'd subscribed to all these little bits of software and different things on my phone and online, put them through the business. And in my mind, it was like 30 or 40 pounds a month. It turned out it was 180 pounds a month. So what I did is I went through it all with a fine tooth comb, and I just cut out the ones that just weren't serving me right now. And it's the very fact that it's now my finances that are being spent on things I really need and use within the company.
Mindful spending.
Mindful spending. That's the right way. Jalpa, it's been a pleasure as ever. What I would hope is whoever's watching this is inspired enough to think about doing those tips that we said at the end. But if you want to know more, please don't hesitate to contact either myself or Jalpa on Lollywise or Many Purple Hats. And watch out, there'll be another one of these in a week's time where we're talking about other aspects of it. We haven't named what this mentorship program is called yet, but at the moment it's Purple Lolly Mentorships until we can actually find a better name for it.
We're very open to suggestions.
Suggestions, please do give some.
We need a good name.
Yeah, well, we do. I wish everybody a lovely rest of the week, what little there is of it, and of course a wonderful weekend, and of course great mental health. Bye-bye now.